Hello everyone. Welcome to my YNR 24 spoilers. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Claire defeats Audra by revealing her true name and stealing the check. According to previews for The Young and the Restless, Claire Newman is now in control of her rival Audra Cortez Charles. At last, she managed to extract Holden Novak's secret regarding Audra, and it's a doozy. Claire may take Audra somewhere warmer than Death Valley in July using the information she currently has. Claire is aware of Audra's secrets. Holden revealed the terrible truth about himself and Audra to Claire after they had a sexual encounter. He used to work as a bartender at the Shadow Room in Los Angeles, where Audra stole a wallet containing a $500,000 cashier's check. A bad girl, Audra fled, changed her last name from Cortez to Charles, and rewarded Holden with $100,000 for not turning on him. Claire might blackmail Victor Newman's investigating team by simply revealing the victim's identification. Claire could make Audra wriggle for the rest of her life. At the very least, Claire is now in control of Audra. By referring to her as Audra Cortez, or perhaps pointing out that $500,000 is a lovely, round amount, how will Claire twist the knife? In any case, we eagerly await Audra's retribution. Perhaps Claire has Victor's team investigate her more, or pretends to know the mark's name. When Audra is exposed, how will she respond? This can be the one thing that makes Audra decide to leave GC in search of better opportunities. However, her former partner, Newman, has returned to the city, and we anticipate more fireworks there. Now that Audra's secret has been revealed, there is a lot more tale to be told. Do you want her to remain at YNR or go? According to previews for The Young and the Restless, Claire will attempt to make Audra unhappy now that Holden has revealed the truth. Keep checking back to see if Audra will receive any more awful news. Claire's audacious action against Audra, the theft of the check that turns everything around. According to previews for The Young and the Restless, Claire Newman may turn to blackmailing Audra Cortez, also known as Audra Charles Silver. She may accomplish this by disclosing the stolen check secret, which would undoubtedly shock her opponent. Nathan told Claire about his Audra secret. As YNR fans already know, Holden Novak eventually told Claire the specifics of the situation he was in with Audra. Holden decided to step in for Audra after she stole a wallet while he was working behind the bar at the Shadow Room. It turns out that this wallet was stolen from an inebriated man who was meant to display her artwork at a future gallery. To the man's dismay when he subsequently found out about the robbery, this mishap gave Audra the ideal opportunity to steal the $500,000 cashier's check that was hidden within. After that, Audra quickly left Los Angeles, changed her last name from Cortez to Charles, and handed Holden $100,000 as a sort of posthumous gift. Claire might not know the man's identity, but Victor's men might find out on her behalf. Claire might not be aware of the identity of the man whose wallet was taken, but if she chose to make good use of Victor Newman's investigative team, she probably could find out. Victor has some of the best private investigators in the business. Therefore, they might be able to locate that person's gallery. Investigating Audra Cortez's past and identifying potential art collaborators she might have worked with at the time would be a simple effort. The next time their paths cross, Claire may at least give Audra the impression that this is a feasible alternative. Claire can surprise Audra by calling her Audra Cortez and telling her that Holden has told her about the wallet scandal. Claire might admit that she is aware of the embezzlement. Claire might also admit that she is aware that Audra stole $500,000, implying that the angry wallet owner would be eager to learn that Audra is in Genoa City. Claire would seem as though she already knew the man's name, but Audra would probably spot her deception. Claire might, however, threaten to tell Grandpa Victor and have his minions find the further information she requires. After Claire shares her information and tells Audra to get out of town before her hazardous past catches up with her, Audra may feel uneasy. According to spoilers, Claire will attempt to make Audra's life more miserable now that Holden has revealed the truth. Keep checking back to see if Audra receives any more unfavorable news. Kyle is taken aback by Claire's startling transformation, a revelation he never anticipated. According to teasers on The Young and the Restless, Claire Newman moved away from Genoa City, Wisconsin, in order to remove herself from Kyle Abbott. Holden Novak is one of the two guys in her life when she returns as a transformed woman. Once more, Kyle ignored his parents' sage counsel. As part of YNR's second setting, he pursued Claire to Los Angeles, California, instead of accepting her wishes, creating a different plot. On the left coast, he discovered several unfavorable things. Holden evolved beyond being Claire's friend and self-described tour guide. She encouraged them to develop a romantic relationship, which was just a partly response to their separation from Kyle. As an adult, are you fleeing your home? Claire's emotional development is not as advanced as that of most 30-year-olds. That gap is not her fault. Rather, that gloomy card will always belong to her horrible, dead great-aunt. Most people can't relate to being taken from their parents at birth unless they live in a soap opera environment where characters like Mariah Copeland may share terrifying tales. Claire deserves praise for rejecting Jordan, saving her family, and making every effort to lead a typical life. The connection with Kyle developed organically. After becoming friends, their connection developed, and she developed a close friendship with Harrison Abbott, the son. Claire did not flee from GC or Kyle. According to a reasonable analysis, she was going to take it all in. To be fair, though, getting in touch with Holden makes things more difficult. The story is altered by the Audra Charles news. Holden is credited with telling Claire about what transpired in Los Angeles, California. Viewers linked Holden's ability to fill up his past to the debut of Tamara Braun's and Roger Howarth's characters as the Forerunners. Claire is astute. Holden was therefore wise to keep the identity of the man Audra Cortez stole $500,000 from a secret from her. Claire was also motivated to keep Holden's further information concerning Audra's uninvited $100,000 payout to herself. This includes the fictitious last name she made up, Charles, to shield herself from someone who seemed to be from the underworld. Kyle Abbott is realistic but hopeful. Claire and Kyle are not the same. He has been fortunate enough to be a part of numerous exciting romantic relationships and weddings. He was able to identify Holden as a threat because of his personal history. Kyle will soon learn that his fear has been realized. There is an impending conflict that could be physical. Kyle is not motivated to conceal Holden's revelation, but Claire is. In both cases, viewers can presume that the individual will acquire that information and then use it against Holden and Audra to the greatest extent possible. There have been many scandals, betrayals, and resurrections in the busy center of Genoa City, but few compare to the planned retaliation that Claire Newman is about to unleash. The exquisite facade that Audra Charles, previously Audra Cortez, has so painstakingly created is about to fall apart with one stolen check and a whispered confession. Claire and Holden Novak's passionate and vulnerable moment is turning into a symphony of power, vengeance, and poetic justice. After a lifetime of waiting for control, Claire Newman now has the ideal weapon in her well-groomed hands thanks to the universe. Holden's admission, a truthful and seductive night. In Los Angeles, where everyone hides behind character and illusions are valued highly, the story opens. Suave but restless, Holden Novak was no different. Holden recognized a parallel of himself in Claire, who had just returned from the mayhem of Genoa City and was looking for a break from her emotional involvement with Kyle Abbott. Their chemistry was perilous, magnetic, and instantaneous. Holden struck up a conversation about art, remorse, and Audra Cortez over glasses of bourbon in a dimly lit hotel bar. At first, Claire had no idea what the name meant. However, the pieces of the puzzle began to fit together as Holden disclosed more. Holden used to work as a bartender at the Shadow Room, an underground hangout where secrets were revealed more quickly than cocktails. One evening, Audra, then known as Audra Cortez, had taken a wallet from an inebriated customer who was in control of her creative career. There was a $500,000 cashier's check in the wallet. Everything was altered by the theft. Holden witnessed her action. He saw the fear in her eyes, the brief moment of guilt that turned into defiance. The following morning, she left the Cortez name behind and adopted the name Audra Charles as she escaped town. She sent Holden $100,000 in exchange for his silence. It was a payoff that seemed like appreciation, but was actually motivated by fear. Years later, Claire Newman, a woman who is skilled in turning information into devastation, has discovered that secret. Claire's methodical awakening. Claire Newman has spent the majority of her life in the shadow of other people's decisions. Claire has spent years recovering her identity after being born into chaos, tricked by her insane great-aunt Jordan, and thrown into a web of deceit. Although she is accustomed to lying, the situation is different this time. She is in control of the cards this time. Claire was taken aback by Holden's admission, but she remained unfazed. Like a chess player researching her opponent's flaws, she listened, examined, and stored every detail. She had always been irritated by Audra's glitzy exterior. She now knew why. Beneath the high heels and self-assured smirks, Audra was fleeing a history filled with fear and larceny. Claire's thoughts were racing with potential outcomes. Victor Newman's investigative team could confirm everything with surgical accuracy, so she didn't have to do anything. They would have the name of the man Audra robbed, the gallery she ran from, and possibly even a paper trail that could forever damage her reputation with just one call or order. Claire, however, was unwilling to give up the win. She desired to relish it. After all, if you don't take pleasure in your adversary's downfall, what good is power? Audra's deceitful web. Audra Charles has been thriving in Genoa City's boardrooms and bedrooms for years, exploiting connections and luring opportunities. She is a survivor in stilettos, ambitious, crafty, and blatantly self-serving. She is untouchable due to her affiliation with Newman Media and her liaisons with influential people. However, even the bravest souls can be haunted by secrets. The name Cortez might as well be from a different lifetime because Audra has buried her past so thoroughly that even she has started to believe in the myth of Audra Charles. However, she is secretly aware that everything she has created could be destroyed by a single incorrect whisper. The first fissure in Audra's armor is the serene assurance in Claire Newman's eyes and her unexpected poise. Like a wolf detecting another predator in the wild, she senses it instinctively. The atmosphere in the room disappears as Claire begins referring to her by her true name, Audra Cortez. Audra's breathing stops for a time. That name sounds like a ghost that has been brought back from the dead of her past. The stolen check, blackmail, power, and guilt. The stolen check represents the decisions that characterize both women and is more than just proof of a crime. For Audra, it symbolizes the point at which she concluded that survival was more important than morality. It's the secret to freedom for Claire. She doesn't have to raise her voice when Claire confronts her. Her comments are much more deadly in their slow, thoughtful tone. Audra, $500,000. That is a significant sum of money to disappear into thin air. If the man you stole from found out where you ended up, I wonder how he would feel. In an attempt to hide her worry, Audra claims Claire is ignorant about the subject at hand. Claire, though, merely smiles. She doesn't need to prove anything because her composure is sufficient evidence of her expertise. And Audra shudders when Victor's name is spoken. She doesn't need to be explicitly threatened by Claire. The implication is obvious. Audra's career might be destroyed overnight if Victor Newman's investigators locate the individual and reveal the theft. Built on charm and lies, Audra's kingdom would collapse before she could arrange a trip out of town. Victor's shadow is huge. The head of the most influential family in Genoa City, Victor Newman, has always been an expert at discovering secrets. His network of private investigators is unrivaled, and his reach is boundless. Claire is fully aware of this, having witnessed him destroy adversaries with a single phone call. She could feed him the tale and watch Audra burn if she so desired. Claire, however, wants the fulfillment of doing it herself this time. She learned from Victor that possessing leverage is only one aspect of power. Another is understanding when and how to use it. Claire assumes the role of the Newman chessboard's silent puppeteer by keeping Audra's secret. She only needs Audra to live in continual terror in order to succeed. She doesn't need to publicly ruin Audra. Fear that Cortez might be said in the wrong ear one day. Kyle's envy and Holden's remorse. Audra's personal life is falling apart in a complex web of treachery and desire while Claire tightens the noose around her. The man who revealed everything, Holden Novak, is caught between adoration and guilt. Although he didn't intend to include Claire in this situation, he feels relieved that he has finally let go of a secret that has been haunting him for years. However, Claire's personal attachment to Kyle Abbott complicates their relationship. After Claire departed Genoa City, Kyle, ever the romantic, followed her to Los Angeles. In his heart, it was pride, but he persuaded himself it was love. The thought of losing her to a different man, a different life, or the ghost she was pursuing was unbearable to him. Instead, he discovered a stronger, colder, and more erratic version of Claire. Kyle's world turns upside down when he finds out about Holden and the information he disclosed. He views Holden as a danger to the Newman-Abbott partnership as a whole, not just to his relationship. It appears like a confrontation is unavoidable, one that could pull Audra into an uncontrollable tempest. Expose the true Audra. Whispers rather than explosions signal the arrival of the day of reckoning. Claire carefully selects her moment. During a business meeting at Society, where the wealthy of Genoa City congregate beneath champagne bubbles and chandeliers, Audra enters with a dazzling demeanor, as though nothing could harm her. However, Claire's eyes follow her like a predator observing its prey. Claire leans closer, her voice almost audible above a whisper, as chatter hums around them. Audra Cortez, how does it feel to know that your past is going to catch up with you? Audra becomes motionless. Her glass shakes. Her forced smile is brittle. Claire's voice is cool, collected, and full of contentment. She is making a point rather than creating a commotion. Although everyone is aware of the strain, nobody is aware of the risks. Not quite yet. It appears to the outside world to be just another power struggle between aspirational women. Audra, however, is more knowledgeable. She is aware that Claire has the detonator and that the truth is a ticking time bomb. Fear and fallout. Audra turns into a shadow of her former self in the days that follow. She is consumed with paranoia. Every phone call seems like a trap, and every look from a stranger is dangerous. She considers running, again, but she is stuck in Genoa City for some reason. She may be acting out of pride, denial, or the knowledge that running will just make her guilt worse. Claire, on the other hand, is doing well. She is taking back control of her own life as well as Audra. The goal of exposing Audra is closure rather than retaliation. Claire has been characterized for years by the falsehoods that other people have told her. She is now in possession of the truth. Nevertheless, a part of her struggles with guilt. The distinction between justice and cruelty is blurred by Holden's admission, Kyle's anguish, and Victor's impending influence. However, morality is a luxury that few people in Genoa City can afford. The twist ahead and Noah's return. Audra appears to be on the verge of leaving town, but destiny intervenes once more. Her ex-lover, Noah Newman, comes back to Genoa City. His coming stirs up suppressed feelings and reopens old wounds. Noah sees a woman imprisoned by her own falsehoods, but Audra sees a chance for atonement in him. His disappointment is evident when he finds out about the missing check. Audra tries to defend herself by saying that her acts were motivated by desperation, but Noah no longer believes her. He also cautions her that Claire is a Newman and not just another rival after discovering that she is the one with her secret. She is therefore playing for keeps. The final scene, salvation or destruction. Claire and Audra's story is far from finished. Both women must make a decision as the walls shut in. Claire has to choose between letting Audra bear the burden of her own guilt and fully exposing her. Audra has to decide between admitting her wrongdoing and running the chance of being completely destroyed. Holden's conscience, Kyle's rage, and Victor's investigators all combine to create a maelstrom in the center of Genoa City. The initial check has come to represent everything they have lost and everything they are prepared to lose in order to defend themselves. Claire doesn't have to completely ruin Audra in the end. She has already prevailed. Audra's terror, shaking hands, and restless nights are sufficient victories. Silence might be the most effective weapon at times. The queen and the pawn in the epilogue. Claire Newman observes the glowing skyline from the balcony of Newman Tower as fall arrives in Genoa City. She feels both strong and oddly empty at the same time. She comprehends Victor's world, the seductive fusion of power and isolation, for the first time. Somewhere across town, Audra Cortez, who is no longer posing as Audra Charles, looks into a mirror and sees the terrified girl who once stole $500,000 and believed she could outrun her sins instead of the fashionable businesswoman she has been pretending to be. They have just moved on to the next stage of their game. One thing is certain about Genoa City. Secrets are never kept under wraps for very long.